Hi everyone, welcome to another beautiful sunny morning at Little Bit. Thank you for joining us for our second virtual lesson. Today we're going to be working on a riding skill. We're going to have a couple of riding skill virtual lessons over the coming weeks. So as everyone who rides knows, there's always different approaches to everything that we can do as riders. So we're going to be talking about some techniques that are really useful. We know at the program a little bit, just like all other riders, that all of these things that we're going to learn are more challenging for some people, easier for other people. And what we do here at Little Bit is we help you guys to adapt these general riding approaches for how it works well for you and your horse. But it's really good to know what these things are, even if it's something that might be more challenging for you. You might not use this technique, but it's still good to understand how that can help you and your horse work together. So today, we're going to be talking about the 2-point position. Now, lots of our riders use this in our lessons. We quite often use it a little bit when we are learning to trot on our horse. So we're going to be helped today by Christine and Banks. So they're just warming up at the moment. So we'll ask over in a little while. But before we do that, we're going to talk a little bit about the 2-point position. So first of all, what is the 2-point position? So most of the time when we're sitting on our horse, we're sitting in our saddle with our feet in our stirrup and our hands out in front of us. So we have 3 points of contact. We have our 2 legs, and we have our bum sitting in the saddle. So to go to the 2-point position, we need to take one away. So we end up with our 2 points, which are our 2 legs that are supporting our body while we are on our horse. Okay, so how do we get into the 2-point position? I'm going to talk about it, and then we're going to get Christine over and we're going to demonstrate it on the horse. So if I'm sitting on my horse, I want to be sitting as tall as I can, strong through my tummy here. And we always want to think, when we're sitting on our horse, if we were to take the horse out from underneath us, would we still be balanced? Would we still be standing up? So if we're sitting on our horse and we're kind of leaning right back like this with our legs out in front of us, if I did that right now, I'd fall over. If I was leaning really far forward on my tippy toes like this, I'd fall over as well. So when we're sitting on our horse, always think, if that horse wasn't there, would in a balanced position to stay sitting up tall? And most of that comes from the strength in our tummy. Now, he can't watch this because he doesn't have the code, but if my trainer was watching this, he would be saying, yes, Jenny, remember your core strength, because we talk about that a lot in my lessons. Horse riding is, we never stop learning. So all of us instructors, we take lessons too. I take 3 lessons a week to keep working on my riding, and I've been riding for 30 years, and believe me, I still need to work on my core. That is an ongoing struggle for sure. Okay, so we'd be sitting on our horse and we want to go up into our 2-point position. So the first thing we would do is push our legs so we're standing up, so we are not sitting on the horse's back. We would then push our butt out behind us to keep our balance down over our legs. We don't want to tip forward because then we're going to lose our balance. So we're going to stick our butt out behind us, keep our weight down through our heels so that we are supporting our own body. Now, when we're learning to do this, it's useful if we put our hands on our horse's neck, and that helps us to stay up tall in our body here. It's a really hard thing to learn, to keep your body balanced out of the saddle like this. So we're going to very naturally tip forward. That's going to put us out of balance, also going to put our weight shoulders. That makes it harder for our horses to move. So putting the hands on the horse's neck helps us to keep our chest up tall. When we're 2-pointing, we always want our chest tall. We don't want it down here. We want it up here, and our eyes are pointing through our horse's ears, and we're looking up where we're going. Another good reason to keep your hands on your horse's neck is we all know that we're going to be holding our reins in our hands. So if we are holding our reins and we're learning to balance, and we're kind of wobbling around a little bit because we're still learning how to do our 2-point, we move our hands around, we're going to be pulling on our horse's mouth. So keeping our hands on the neck while we learn our 2-point balance helps to keep our hands quiet and make it easier for our horses to carry us. We want, though, to make sure that when we have our hands on the horse's neck, we don't tip onto our hands, because what we're trying to learn is to be able to sit, to be able to stand on our legs, keeping our weight over our body. So this helps us to learn, but our goal is to be able to move our hands while we're on our horse without, when we lift our hands up, us tipping our body backwards and forward. So that is what our 2-point position is, and that's what we're going to be demonstrating with Christine today. Uh-oh. Sorry, drama in the tack barn. Okay. One of the ponies decided they were going to go for a little walk, but that's fine. Somebody's got hold of them now. Rosie Girl was going for a little adventure. Okay, so that is what our 2-point looks like. So as I mentioned, one of the reasons this is useful is because when we stand up, it takes our weight off the horse's back. To enable the horse to move, we want their back to be able to swing. So if we can stand up and lift their back up more, that makes it easier for them to carry us. When we're learning to trot, those of you who are already trotting or are starting to learn to trot, or have even just trotted a little bit, you know that the trot, it feels really bumpy. When we first start to learn to ride the trot, it feels super bumpy. So when we're learning what that motion feels like, if we can stand up, then while we're learning how to balance and moving around a lot, we're not bumping on our horse's back. And that's something, again, that can be helpful for our horses. That doesn't mean it's the only way to do it. Some people are not able to do the 2-point, and that's fine. And for those types of riders, then we would be working on our sitting trot, and that would be where we're trying to sit really soft so that we don't bounce on the horse as well. We're not going to talk about that today, but that's a different technique of riding, absolutely just as valid as learning the 2-point. But today we're going to focus on learning the 2-point. So for anyone who has ever seen any videos of people jumping horses, then you can see the progression of the 2-point. So the 2-point that we mostly do in our classes, we're a little bit maybe this high off of our horse's back. If you watch people jump really big fences, you're going to see them with super short stirrups get really high off the horse's back to help that horse be able to jump over those really big jumps. So after we have finished with this lesson, by the end of today, I'm going to share some YouTube links at littlebit.org/resources. There will be a section on the virtual lessons, and I'm going to share some links that you guys can all go and watch some super amazing world-class riders. I'm going to share some links of people riding cross-country. That's where they're galloping through the fields over huge big jumps through water, through lakes, through forests, and they're going to be in the 2-point nearly all the time. And you're going to be able to see how they stay in their 2-point, and as they get to the fence, sit down a little bit, help sit their horse up, and then as they go over the jump, they're going to really get off their horse's back to let their horse jump over those big fences. So I'm going to share some of those links so you guys can all take a look at that while you're at home. Okay, so we're going to ask Christine and Banks to come and join us now. You come and join us, Banksy. So many of you won't have met Banks yet because we met him on our Facebook Live the other day. And just before I forget to tell you, we are doing another Facebook Live Wednesday, 11:30. Going to be super fun. We have a bit of a game that we're going to play with the horses, so hope a lot of you can join us there. So let's go and say hi to Mr. Banks. Hi, buddy. Hi, little boy. We are very itchy. Good boy. Okay. So for those of us who haven't met Mr. Banks before, he wants to say hi. Mr. Banks is an 8-year-old thoroughbred. So he's a little bit different to a lot of the horses that we have here at Little Bit. in I think it's next week. You can look on the schedule. Good boy. We're going to be doing a virtual lesson about the types of horses that we have here at Little Bit. So he's a thoroughbred. So that's like all race horses are thoroughbred. So he's kind of tall. You can see he's kind of narrow, and he has quite long legs. So if we were to stand, hi friends, I know. Did I touch your legs? I know. If we were to stand maybe Honeybee next to Bank, we would see that instead of being kind of tall and narrow like this, he's kind of a little bit wider and a little bit kind of, the legs are kind of thicker. And that's something to do with their breed. So this type of horse, a thoroughbred, very athletic horses, very good, they're sport horses, so they can run really fast. That's why they're used for racing. Also make some really good jumpers out of thoroughbred horses. So Mr. Banks, he's going to be a therapy horse. For a thoroughbred, he is a very chilled out kind of guy. As we can see, he's very happy, he just wants to hang out, he's going to scratch his leg a little bit. All those big breathing noises he's making, where he's going, that's a really big relaxed noise that he's making. So that's why we're really excited for him to be a therapy horse, because he's such a chill kind of guy. So, all right, hi. So he's done some jumping in his past. So he's we thought we'd use him for his demonstration. So I don't know how many of you know Christine, but this is Christine, and Christine is one of our very hardworking schoolers, barn team, helps us out with all kinds of things, right, Christine? And so Christine, also a very useful person to help us out here, because you were a hunter jumper in your past, right? Yep. So for those people that don't know, there's different styles of jumping with horses, and so hunters are riding over more kind of like natural looking fences. They want their horses to maintain a very steady rhythm. It should look very calm. The horse should look very comfortable. So on the show jumping side, that's where you're going to get those big, colorful jumps. The jumps are really big, and it's a little bit more, I was going to say athletic, but that's not the right word, but it's more dramatic, explosive. Right? Yeah. Explosive. So you're jumping jumps, so you're seeing a lot of power coming from those horses, sitting down and pushing up over the jump. So Christine has a lot of experience in doing the 2-point, right? No pressure. Okay, yep. So we're going to talk Christine through how we would coach you guys to get into the 2-point position. So Christine, I would like you to hold your reins between blue and green, and then you're going to push your knuckles onto your horse's neck. Okay, now go ahead and from your feet, push up so you're out of the saddle. Okay, very nice. So Christine is already nearly in a very good 2-point position. The only thing I'm going to ask her to do now is keeping her eyes and her chest up. You need to try and push your bum towards the back of the saddle a bit. Good, nice. So if Christine was going to jump some bigger jumps, we would have her stirrups a little bit shorter so she could get a bit more height out of the saddle. But this is a beautiful 2-point position. Christine, can you lift your hands up and push them towards his ears? So you can see how that didn't change her body, right? She is balancing through her hips, through her knees, and down to her hips. You can move your hands to whatever it's comfortable. Excuse me. So we can see she has a bend in her knee here. This is really important because if we have our legs super straight, then when the horse moves, it's gonna be very bumpy for us. We want to be in our knees bent so that when the horse moves, we can kind of bounce on our knees. So it's softer. That's absorbing the motion for our body and also helping our horse's body. One of the things we're always trying to do as horse and rider is work in harmony with each other. That means we have to do as riders something called following the motion. That means our body has to stay soft to be able to move with the motion of the horse. So a little bend in the knee, super important. We can also see that Christine is really good at something that I'm not. She has her heel a little bit down, right? So we can see that she hasn't like forced it down. It's not like super steep like this. She's just resting the ball of her foot in the stirrup, and then just where her weight is, it pushes her heel down a little bit. We always want to be riding with our heel a little bit down. This is how we stay nice and balanced on the horse, but we shouldn't be trying to push it down really hard. It should be down because of how we are balancing our body over the horse. So the other thing we can see is how Christine's body, you see the textbook, her shoulders are also down over her body. They're not really far forward like this. She's using her tummy, her core muscles to keep herself up tall, and she's hi, buddy. And she's keeping her chest up, and her eyes are looking straight forward where she wants to go. Absolutely beautiful 2-point position. Okay, so let's see it in action. So Christine, you can take a rest if you want to for a second. And if you want to go ahead and walk forward, Christine is going to do a little bit of simple work with Mr. Banks. So we're going to let her just get going. And then she's going to go up into her 2-point and just walk a circle. Okay, so we can see how she's taken her weight off the horse's back. So she's not sitting on his back anymore. You can see how her body is still able to move though. She's staying in his motion. She's not kind of super rigid. She's very strong. So when we learn different positions with riding, it can tell us where we need to work on our strength in our body. So our core strength is very important for riding, for everything that we do in riding. And so Christine's really using her core here to keep herself balanced on the horse. I love how she's keeping her eyes up and her hands in a very stable position as well. Okay, Christine, you happy to go to the trot? All right. Ask Mr. Banks to go to the trot. What a good boy. Very nice, soft transition there. Listen to her voice really nicely. So you can really see here how that movement in her knee and in her hips is helping to keep her in that 2-point position. So she is moving with her horse, keeping her weight off his back. Very nice job. Her eyes are up. She's not looking down. Her weight is over the saddle. It's not over his shoulders. So he's able to keep moving because she has her weight centered in the right place on the horse. You can also see with her hands, they're not going forwards and backwards. She's just keeping them nice and soft. So she's not pulling on him. He's able to keep moving. What a good boy. Christine, you happy to go to canter? All right, let's see it. The thoroughbred canter. Good boy. So again, same thing. She has a wonderful 2-point. You keep looking at that heel that's just a little bit down. It should feel like all the weight from your body is sinking out through your heel. Doesn't mean you're not pushing them down, just sinking down through gravity, kind of pulling them down. All right, and Christine, you can come down to the walk. So she's gonna sit up tall, and we can see as she comes all the way from the canter to the walk, her shoulders still stayed up tall. Again, that's your core strength that's helping you to stay up there nice and tall in the saddle. What a good boy. All right, so we're gonna let Mr. Banks walk for a minute. And then we're going to ask Christine to ride over some of these poles as if they were like a jumping course. So we can see out in the arena, if you want to turn around, Lindsay, then we have some poles out here. So they're not in any particular order. So these are set out as if you would go around a jumping course in an arena, a jumping course. So Christine is going to ride Mr. Banks around these poles. And every time she goes over a pole, she'll go from her normal posting trot position up into her 2-point and then back into her posting trot position. And that change of position is a really helpful thing to learn. We want to be able to, without losing keeping our balance. So without falling backwards or falling forward, we want to be able to go from a posting trot to a 2-point, to a sitting trot, to a posting trot. And that's a really good demonstration that we have true balance on our horse when we're able to move through all those different things. If you're learning to trot, a really good exercise to work on in your lesson is what we call standing up for 2 beats. So you might go posting, so you're going 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then you'll go up, up, down, up, up, down, up, up, down. Sounds really simple, really difficult. Really difficult. But that's to do with being able to keep our balance as we move with the rhythm of the horse. Okay, Christine, you want to pick up your trot? And you can go wherever you like. And we're going to let Christine do whatever she needs to do with her horse. She needs to come to a walk. She needs to make some circles. That's fine. Mr. Banks sometimes gets a little bit excited about doing poles. He thinks it's a lot of fun. Very nice. So we saw there how she stopped posting. She went into her 2-point. What I really liked about that is how when she went into her 2-point, she didn't pull her hands back towards her. She kept them out in front. That allowed him to be able to keep moving his head out in front of him so that he could make a nice step over the pole. Very nice. Very good. So we can also see how Christine is posting the trot on the correct diagonal. Now that's some crazy horse riding words for people who don't know what that means. But what that means is when horses trot, and we're going to do another lesson, I think it's on Friday actually, about the gaits of the horse. So that's the difference between walk, trot, and canter. The reason we post when the horse is trotting is the trot is a 2-beat gait. It goes 1, 2, 1, 2. The legs move in pairs. So when we are going to the right, we should sit down when his left front leg comes back underneath his body. When we're going to the right, we should sit down when his right front leg comes underneath his body. We say you rise and fall with the legs on the wall. So Christine's going to go up into her 2-point again. Very nice. This is very steady. Banks is keeping a very nice rhythm. And we can see how Christine's we call this riding very quietly. So her body doesn't change a lot. Her and her horse, if he makes a bigger step, then she just lets her body go with him. If he makes a smaller step, then she just goes with him too. They're trying to establish nice rhythm. It should look nice and consistent. Horse and rider working in harmony. Very nice, Christine. You can see how she's keeping that bend in her knee. Her heels are down, her hands are quiet, and she has a big smile on her face. It's perfect. All right, you can come to a walk whenever you're ready, Christine. And Mr. Banks can be all done. Thank you very much for joining us. What a good boy. Paula, everyone's on the virtual lesson. Next lesson will be you. Right? Okay, so we've learned about the 2-point position. We've talked a little bit about why it's useful, how it helps your horse, how it helps how you can achieve the 2-point position while working in harmony with your horse. And that's always what we're trying to achieve. Everything in horse riding is to achieve a better partnership with our horse. Okay, so thank you for joining us. We're going to open it up now for questions or for anyone who just wants to have a little bit of a chat.
Bye. Thank you.